Hello. Oh, goodness. Looking at chat, there's so many of you fishing right now. Dang, let's see. 22 of you. Dude. "22 fisherinos." Damn. I'm going to turn the... There we go. The, like, sound effects off of it. Oh, wahoo! Aren't leatherback turtles endangered? Should we really be fishing for them? That's such a good question. I don't know. But I do know that we could end world hunger with this pond. And give a lot of children bikes. Yep. Clarky is at her first martial arts session right now. And apparently she's doing great. Sam said the teachers are great and they're really like making sure that she understands what to do. She hasn't gotten frustrated. She's given everything a go. So good job, Clarky. Thank you. Yeah, it's Mother's Day here. Not in America yet. But it's Mother's Day in England. In case she has to fight a goose. The geese have their own fenced-in area now. We helped set it up yesterday, so... They have their own little territory, so hopefully Crumble can chill out and not feel so threatened all the time, not be so ready to fight literally everything. Yeah, we'll see. But it is nice to be able to just walk around outside and not constantly check to make sure that the geese aren't in the same area as you, because that's silly. You got a Yuli. Congratulations. Can we go fishing more than once today? Sure. Sure, why not? For you, anything. There you go. You can each redeem it thrice today. Chat really got Subway Surfered with this game. I literally, I thought that we were going to use this for like a couple of days and then people were not going to be interested in it anymore. But everyone is so invested in fishing, dude. So I guess it'll just be fishing the whole time. Also, very proud of y'all. I don't think I've seen a single person say, "Can't believe we have constant fishing," before we have normal sub alerts back. I don't know how you held that in, but I appreciate that. They have sub alerts? Huh? I had forgotten about sub alerts, you know. It's funny because occasionally somebody will be like, "I really love that we don't have like stuff going on here." But from a streaming perspective, sub alerts are nice. Sub alerts are something we should have for sure. You got a Zacky Wacky. Congratulations. I don't understand why the gold amount that you give it ignores. Just like adds or takes away from it. I resubbed in the pre-show. I didn't notice there wasn't an alert. Yeah, we haven't had alerts going for a while. Back when we talked about all of the things that needed to be like reconfigured about the channel, one of the things that was brought up was, hey, it would be cool if we had alerts again. And I already had been thinking to myself, well, I think I want to not necessarily rebrand, but like I want to get like new stuff made. So I was like, I'll just get the ball rolling on that. Which has been waylaid a couple of times. For sometimes my fault. We can still use Wayne June. I still have that audio file. So. But yeah. And now, you know, if I'm gonna be a little mushy in the future, it might actually be even easier to put something together for that. Have Sam record a few things to surprise people that triggers once every 10 subs or something. I've thought about doing something like when Sam did his subathon, I was like, why is this only a subathon thing? That would be so funny to just contact a bunch of my friends and be like, hey, can you record like a really weird sub alert? And I'll just have it be like a low percentage chance that it procs. JP kept a few from his subathon. I mean, you shouldn't waste those. They're gold. They're so good. Michael! He's not a vampire. You're safe. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. I thought I was being yelled at for a sec. It's a reference to the Twilight one shot that we did. With the same color nails. I need to repaint them. This nail polish did not hold up at all. Michael's got the best trivia. Not a vampire. Mm-hmm. It's true. He's not. He's a totally normal guy named Michael. I'm still so sad that Shane wasn't able to. He had like a really important thing going on, but I'm so sad that Shane wasn't able to join us for the Twilight one shot because our characters were going to be best friends. And his character was like the son of the devil. So good. It's so like extreme, like young adult novel coded. I love it. Alis, my boy. Yes? Oh, did my phone die? But it's plugged in. Well. Well now. It says it's charged. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, we've watched Solo Leveling. is good. Colin Robinson, my good time boy. I'm sad that show is ending. But I guess it might as well end while it's on top, you know? Mm-hmm. One last season. Ba, 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 ba. Can I tell you how I spent my almost entire morning? Clark found, amongst the craft supplies, a huge rat's nest of yarn, and it flew me back because I remember going to the craft store with Clark when she was like maybe three-ish, and she begged for some yarn, and I was like, sure, there's lots of fun things we could do with yarn. And the second we got home, she ripped it open and turned it into a big just jumble of yarn. And I managed to get it back into a ball. And the next time that I looked, she had found it and turned it back into a huge rat's nest of yarn. And I gave up and just left it that way because clearly that's how she wanted it. So we found that rat's nest of yarn, and I was like, this is actually a very pretty yarn, and it's really soft. I'm going to see if I can undo the knot. Not exaggerating. A jumble about this big of yarn. Like, I'm going to see if I can unravel this and roll it up. And I'm still working on it. Still working on it, yeah. I think at some point I tried to do it because so far I have made 5 little balls of yarn. So clearly at some point I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna cut it. Tried to cut it to like wrap it up easier, and it didn't work out. So I love doing that though. It's so fun. I don't know what it is about it. I sat there for so long unraveling this yarn and rolling it up, and every time I would get to the end of a string, I'd be like, yes, another ball. It was great. You have so many cool mugs. Thank you. This one my mama bought me. We used to go to near Lake Tahoe. There's a outdoor Shakespeare presentation that happens every summer. And so in the summer when we would visit my auntie in Lake Tahoe, we would always drive to go to this Shakespeare thing, and it was one of my favorite things to do. And they had a little stall with all of the, like, you know, Shakespeare tchotchke in there that you could buy. And one of them was these mugs. There were like 3 or 4 of these, and I wanted the insult one very bad. There was another one that one of you guys sent me. And when I had to cut down on mugs, I gave that mug to someone else who very much appreciated it, because I couldn't take all my mugs with me. And I was like, if it's between the one that my mom bought me when we were bonding and watching Shakespeare together, or the one that matches it, I will keep the one that my mom bought me. But I promise, all of the mugs that I had to get rid of, they went to good homes. But the collection has been growing. Yeah, Sam got me a mug in Japan. I've been sent a couple of mugs by you guys. But a couple of mugs have also shattered after we got here. So, you know. Speaking of UK versus US things, US did daylight savings clock change today. UK does it in 3 weeks, I think. Isn't it only 1 week? I thought it's only a 1 week difference. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Yeah. Really, the biggest thing that the time change always affects is D&D games. Because depending on the DM, either my life is exactly the same or not at all. So now I think Deadbeats is going to be starting an hour early for me, which I cannot get to. So it's one of those, like, I'll just get there when I get there, I guess. But for Sunforged, Joe is a UK DM, so for us it's the same. I know, if only I had a bookshelf. I could put mugs on a bookshelf. I should really get one of those. I told Sam, I was like, all I want for UK Mother's Day is to have a bookshelf in my office. And he was like, okay, I'm really sorry. And then today it decided to absolutely shit rain. It is pouring rain. And I was like, never mind, I don't want you to die. But thank you. What happened to the old bookshelf? What did happen to the old bookshelf? If only it was in here. If only that old bookshelf was in here, in my office. The office's bookshelf. The bookshelf's office. If only there was a way to get it in my office. But I guess not. Oh my God. It was so sunny when I went out. I still got rained on. Dude, my father-in-law went golfing and just got back. And I was like, you went golfing while it rained and got back when it finally started to not rain so hard? Damn. That's commitment, dude. Where's the Vinland Saga manga? I know. If only I had somewhere to put those. If only I could put my manga on something. A shelf, maybe. Are you sick of this yet? This bit is getting old. We should shelf it. All around me are familiar faces. I haven't kept up with your streams in a long time. I recently rediscovered your channel, and I feel like I've missed something very important about a bookshelf. You have. Also, welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Yeah, I don't know how long it's been. If it's been, like, since before I came to the United Kingdom, then there isn't as much to explain. Basically, I have a beautiful bookshelf that was behind me in the old house. Where I am working out of now, is the second floor of an outbuilding on a farm that we bought. And I love it. I love my little office. It's great. The problem is that the stairs to get up here are a little bit rickety. And so I was like, let's wait on bringing the bookshelf up because I'm nervous about it, right? So it got put in our house instead. And we're now quite a few months into living here. Quite a few months into me working out of this office. And it's now become a bit of like, if only I had a bookshelf. Because Sam keeps saying, oh, your bookshelf. I'm totally going to bring your bookshelf up. And either he forgets, which is totally fine, or it starts raining and the rickety steps become like a health hazard, right? I'm not letting anybody bring a heavy bookshelf up rickety, slippery steps. It's not happening. But unfortunately, it loves to rain in this country. Loves it. Can't get enough of it. So yeah, I mean, Sam doesn't want to die. It's a big bookshelf. So oh, yeah, Americanisms. For me, first floor means ground floor. So second floor mean here's ground floor. This is me. One level up. So the first floor. Not if you're American, and I am. I live on the second floor. We don't call any floor 0. The only time anybody's ever said ground floor to me in America has been if I'm at a mall. It's like, do you want to be at the ground level of the mall? And I feel like, or like a big building. And I feel like the reason for that is because where you're parking your car, or where the, like, you know, bottom part of like the social area of the building isn't always where the ground is. So they'll specify on the elevator, like, this is the ground floor, this is the basement floor, right? But when you're just talking about a house in America, when you're just talking about a house, the first floor is the first one. It's the first one, dude. The first one you can walk into is the first floor. I have zero opinions on this topic, which is the correct way to be. I'm not going to argue with anybody in England if they're like, if I'm talking to somebody and I say first floor, and then they go, that's not the first floor, and I go, oh, that's right, sorry, we refer to those differently. Typically, the other person will go, that's funny, and then we move on with our lives, and then we move on. We just love to fight. We just love to fight on Twitch. Do most houses in the U.S. Have an entrance to the basement from the first floor? Yeah. And then that's the basement. Do you mean like that people would go into the basement first? Most people wouldn't go in the basement first, no. But there are apartment buildings where some of the apartments are like sub-ground level. I was not trying to start a fight. I was just trying to gauge in my head how high Sam had to carry the bookshelf. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. Don't worry. It was the people in chat, and you know who you are. And we're all just goofing, and I'm not mad at you either. It was the people in chat who were like, "You're wrong," when I explained. Basement, gross. Wine cellar, hell yeah. Basement, tired, boring. Wine cellar, mysterious, classical. Someone might have died there. She's back up to 1%. Let's go, dude. I don't know what the charging system is here, but it's bad. Actually, now that I've learned about the difference between types of cables, it's probably the cable. The cable is not optimized for charging, and that's what the issue is. It just happens to be a Type C cable. And so I'm using it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get the job done. Or it will get the job done as slow as possible. I turned it on, logged in, and then it went shutting down. Okay. Okay. That's chill. That's cool. Cool, 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 cool. The fishing game seems a little off. Some people get double, some don't get any casts. What do you mean? What do you mean some people don't get any casts? A cup of coffee. Enjoy. There are 71 fishing babies in line. That's probably why you haven't seen yourself. It goes in order, and there's still 71 of you waiting for your fishing to happen. So that's probably why. Yeah, the queue to the pond is crazy right now. I can't wait to check the leaderboards after this, dude. Yeah, everyone's just patiently waiting in line. Everybody gets one go at it. And even if they fish up some keys, they got to get back to the end of the line. An old PC. I haven't seen that before. Nice. That's worth something for some reason. Yeah, the request for everybody to be able to fish thrice, I think, is really created a situation where we've got a lot of fishing to do, my dudes. What's the logo on your hoodie? I'm so glad you asked. What, this logo? DOOGERCoffeeCo.com? Who owns that? Oh, I don't know. It might be me. It's a coffee company. We make small batch coffee. And it's delicious. And you should check it out at DOOGERCoffeeCo.com. We've got our normal roast, which is amazing, but we've also got a couple of seasonal roasts that you can check out. One is peppermint coffee, peppermint chocolate, I mean. And one of them is called Sweater Weather. And it's kind of like what am I looking for? What does it say on the thingy? It's like an Irish cream sort of thing. That's what I was looking for. It's this one. People go feral when this is out because it's so good. You should check it out. We've also got a bunch of tea. It's a good little business. Anyway, hashtag ad. I'm very biased. I own it, etc. I promise I'm not a plant. Yes, we've also got an amazing little puzzle. Ugh, one sec. Hold on. We should do a custom that's also called thong. I can't believe they have a flip-flop in this game and they're calling it thong. Like my mommy. It's probably against TOS though. Ba 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 ba. Depending on where you live and also the generation you were born in, you are either going to call a sandal that just has a little thingy that goes between your big toe and your second toe. If in English, it'll probably either be called a thongs, or flip-flops. Flip-flops, in America at least, has generally become the more accepted term because thong is now specifically reserved for the underwear of the same name. So, when someone calls them thongs, I immediately assume that they're older. However, I've been informed that in some countries, they're still called thongs. So, so it depends. It's not just an age thing. It also depends on where you live. Bye, Deacon. Have a good day at work. It can be a dangerous mistake to make. It's you know, growing in the same dirt as coming to England and talking about your pants openly, you know? or to talk about your fanny pack and watch like 10 people go. They're in the same dirt. They're all growing there together. A fanny is a vagina here. For anybody who doesn't know that. It's your butt in America. So, not really a bad word. Just a funny name for a butt. Bit more, considered a bit more of a weird thing to just say for fun in England. Yeah, I don't know. I guess at some point, people must have worn them what we consider to be backwards now, right? At some point, the buckle was in the front and the actual bag was in the back. Because otherwise, we wouldn't have two well-known terms for them, one being fanny pack and one being bum bag, both of which refer to your butt. There's no way, if there wasn't a decent period of time there where they were sitting on your butt, you know? And then a bunch of people kept getting their shit stolen, and we're like, what can we do? What can we do about this? And one middle-aged mom, one brave middle-aged mom in the 80s. Bum, bum, turned it around, and everyone was like, holy shit. And now they wear them across the shoulders. A fashion evolution. Yeah, dude. Japan did that, I feel like. The sort of like altered fanny pack design. That's what I call them. I'm sorry. The altered like fanny pack design to go across your chest. I feel like that started in Japan. But I love that. Yeah, and her name was Fanny, which is also a perfectly normal nickname for a person. So, because I know that that's like sort of an antiquated nickname. But for what? For Francine or something similar? Hold on. What name is Fanny a nickname for? Here we go. Frances. It's a short form of Francis or Francesca. There you go. Why not Franny? Which one is better to say? Which one has the best mouth feel? I feel like Fanny's easier than Franny. One of them isn't a butt. I don't think it was a butt first, to be fair. I don't think it was a butt first. Absolutely. No, that's totally true. I was also thinking that. Vet said the nickname for Richard, which moderation will stop me from saying, proves that nicknames can just be whatever. That's true. A very common nickname for Richard is Dick. So if you ever Dick Tracy, Dick Clark, their first name was Richard. That was the nickname for that name. So sometimes nicknames aren't super obvious for like what the original name was, you know. In Finland we call them violauku. That's my best shot at it. It translates to belt bag. It sounds really boring now that I've heard all the alternatives. Bill for men named William was always strange to me. I feel like some of these are time-based, right? It could be William, Billiam. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Why is Bill short for William? In the Middle Ages, making up a rhyming name was quite popular. Hence, shortening Robert to Rob would quickly rhyme with Bob. Will, as the shortened form of William, rhymed with Bill and Hill and others. So there you go. In Old French, Richard takes the harder ch sound. So it's pronounced more like Rickard, which is why it became Dick. Well, look at that. That's why Robert becomes Bob. Ed becomes Ted. Edward turns into Ted. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a bunch of those. That's really funny. Today I learned that nicknames are dumb, but can be cool. Yeah. Did somebody get a crab? Was it a gay crab or a normal crab? Normal crab. Fair enough. Maybe we'll see a gay crab today. Cheeky, we were explaining that. I read that out. The Richard becoming Dick is because the French pronunciation of Richard was more like Ricard. Sorry to French speakers. But it was more like Rick, the first syllable, instead of rich. And so then the rhyme became Dick. It was just being a silly William. I'm going to start saying that. Who, me? I'm just a silly William. What's the queue like now? Let's see. 81. I feel like I'm going to need to pause the redemptions like a half an hour before we end. I saw a streamer do this fishing game the whole stream for 4 hours. I was saying at the start of the stream, like, people love this. It really is our Subway Surfer. 10 times speed. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. Oh, I got an A-list. I'm happy. It's a good Sunday. I'm glad. Treat him well. He's feisty, but he's a good boy. If there's a fishing encyclopedia and upgrades, chat could get it would take over Twitch. Yeah, I would love if they expanded it, to be honest. How was skating? Clark requested that we not skate yesterday. We were gonna go, but then it wound up being a very arts and crafts heavy day. And she started like 4 different projects. We did a bunch of tie-dye in the morning, and then she did a sewing project. My mom, like 2 birthdays ago, sent her a like my first sewing project box. A Wilk for Tana. A very good get. Clark had done like 2 of them and had never done the rest. And at the time that she did them, they were kind of a struggle for her. She's like the perfect age for them now. And so she found it and opened it up, and now she's doing all of them. So we've got like 2 half-done sewing projects, 1 that she finished. And then, yeah, a bunch of tie-dye. We started a cooking thing. And I was like, we're going to need to get ready to go here in about like half an hour. So can we get changed? I need to get you changed. And she was like, can we just stay? Can I just keep doing like crafts today? And at first I was like, oh, we should get out of the house. But then I remembered that she's had like, she at the time had like a couple nights in a row. Last night was fine, but had a couple nights in a row where she was awake constantly because her legs were hurting. So Sam and I were like, oh, she's probably in a growth spurt. So I was like, maybe it's best that we not skate anyway. In case, you know, like if we got all the way there, started skating, and she was like, holy shit, my legs hurt, that would suck. So so yeah, been doing a bunch of crafts. Overheard in yesterday's tomato stream, Sam had a full showdown with one of the geese. Yeah, he was the only one that was home that could like safely try and put them to bed, and he was like, "Don't worry, I got this." And Crumble full on was like attacking him. He didn't get grabbed, thank goodness. I think at this point, I'm still the only person that's gotten grabbed by him. Sam managed to not get like actually grabbed and attacked, but like he was really going for it, like flying at his chest, going for him in the dark, in the pitch dark. So my father-in-law and I, all we could hear was Sam just like, nah, like just yelling at this goose. I was standing off to the side like a weird farm painting. I had a floodlight and a rake in the other hand, just off next to the fence, like ready to throw his sword and shield to him so that he could battle properly. And he finally managed to get them in. And my father-in-law was like, that seemed like it went really smooth. That should just be your job. And Sam was like, are you fucking joking? Yeah, Crumble was like, this man's gotten away with too much for too long. It's time to knock him down a peg. And Sam was like, I am so much bigger than you. Go the fuck to bed. But yeah, it was very tumultuous. It was so dark. I was very worried for Sam. What's the path forward with Crumble? So for those of you who haven't been around for Goose Talk, so we have 2 geese that we raised from goslings, and they were so sweet, so sweet, so sweet. Loved all of us. Great time. Got them with the understanding that they were both girls. Okay. So my sister-in-law was like, so it'll be fine. They should continue to be pretty chill. And then one of them, their names are Apple and Crumble. One of them started to get really aggressive. It started off with like lightly pecking people sometimes. Like if you were just like hanging out, he'd just like just peck you a little bit, and we'd be like, Crumble, what are you doing, dude? Then it turned into hissing. Then it turned into the classic goose like stance, like aggression stance, right? But he wouldn't attack anybody. He still wouldn't attack anyone. Then he started like he would like go for us, but only when we were wearing big like fluffy coats. So nobody was getting actually hurt. But I had already reached the point where I was like, I don't really want Clark around the goose, right? Because he's like a loose, he's crazy. And obviously by that point, judging by his behavior and everything, we were like, he's a gander, 100%. He gets between us and Apple all the time. He's really territorial. He's super aggressive. So he's probably a gander, right? Meaning a boy goose. And then one time I walked over to ask my mother-in-law and sister-in-law something. And he ran over to me, bit my leg, and slapped the shit out of my other leg with his wing. And it hurt so bad. Cue me running in circles, going, Grandma, get off! And my sister-in-law running over to save me. And so from then on, and I've said this before, I'm so glad it was me. I'm so glad. I'm perfectly happy with being the scapegoat here. Because up to that point, we were like, he's being kind of a bitch, but it's manageable. And the point where it was like obviously not manageable anymore, I would much rather it be me than anybody else, right? So, and I get to now anytime it gets brought up, I get to be like, it's because I'm goose handsome. He thought I was there to steal his lady. I get it, flips hair. There's plenty of jokes to make here, and I will make all of them because it's fun. But then, of course, it started the conversation of like, what are we going to do about this guy? We have kids over here all the time. They're all terrified of the geese with good reason. We're all trying to be involved, taking care of the garden, taking care of the animals. But like, I definitely am not going to put myself in a situation where I'm the only one out in the field with Crumble. I'm not doing that anymore, right? So what's the plan here? And my sister-in-law felt really bad. She was like, I'm hoping, because it's mating season, I'm really hoping he's going to chill out. But we're just going to have to see. So for a while there, we sort of like, we have 2 fenced off areas. So it was like, if it's during the day, we have him in a different fenced off area with Apple. And then if nobody has anything to do in the general field, then he's out in the general field. But, my sister-in-law was like, I'm going to mow a small area and put up a fence and put their house in there and let them just have their own space. And hopefully it'll help with a couple of things. Hopefully it'll do double damage here where Crumble doesn't feel quite so territorial because nobody else is in their area, right? And everybody can just go about their business and not be scared of the goose. So we helped them set that up yesterday. They've got their own little kingdom now. Apple and Crumble, they're doing their thing. Hopefully also Apple will be able to just sort of settle in a little bit better because around this time, if she's gonna lay an egg, it'll be around now, but she hasn't yet. So my sister-in-law was like, it might be because there are so many animals around and like she doesn't know where would be a safe place to put an egg. But if no animals can get into like that area, they might both just feel more like whew. So we're also this would be a big gamble to make, but it's also been brought up to us by a fellow farmer who raises geese. He was like, your gander would probably chill out a lot if there were more geese. If he didn't have just like one goose to be like mad protective of, if there were more geese around, he'd probably chill out quite a bit because what's he gonna do? Be aggro about all of them? It's like, yeah, I mean, he can try, but it's not gonna work out super well, right? Typically, it would make them like a bit because he'd have to just get desensitized to the fact that the geese are around other things. So yeah. So my sister-in-law is like, he's offered me a couple more geese if we want a couple more geese. And we're all kind of like, I mean, I'm not against more geese if they're sweet. If it's more geese like Apple, sure. I don't want to deal with another Crumble though. I will not deal with another Crumble. So yeah, I don't want to eat Crumble. None of us want to eat Crumble. We don't want to eat the geese, okay? That's not on the bingo card. But if it turns out that he is only aggressive, if we feel like he is like dangerous to have on the farm, we're going to have to talk about what to do about that, you know? So yeah, so that's the situation with the geese. Everybody else is doing fine. Chickens are good. I put a bunch more bark chip in their coop to try and deter. Oh my God. That scared the shit out of me. Hi, Sam. What? Did you see my message? My phone won't turn on.
No. How would I see your message if you...
Because I sent you a message on Discord.
Oh, well. The Munchkin has my phone, so...
Okay.
That's why.
Thank you. Did she have a good time?
She loved it. Yeah, she wants to go again tomorrow.
She wants to go again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, that's great.
She did all of it. She was fucking...
Oh, good job, Clarky. I'm so
She
proud.
made a friend as well.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's great.
Baby.
Yeah?
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
The mold.
That is growing limbs.
I know. I'm not bringing it in the house is the issue. So I've got to clean it out outside because...
That thing is going to start hunting.
Thank you for the food. I love you. There's a coffee cup that got left in here for too long. And I was like, I'm going to take it inside. And then decided against it because there was so much mold in it. And I was like, we live on a farm. I'll clean it outside. But I haven't done it yet. So it's just sitting next to the door, which is why Sam on his way out was like, what the fuck is this? My coffee is fluffy. Mm-hmm. Exactly that, yeah. I do love mold. It's not a good thing to love, but I do love it. When mold grows on stuff, there's some part of my brain that goes, I just want to let it keep growing. But I know I shouldn't. Mm-hmm. This is why they say it's fine to have an interest in science, but like you need to know the safe way to do certain experiments. If somebody was like, what's a safe way to do a mold experiment? I would not have an answer. I wouldn't have an answer. No sweet and sour sauce? It's fine. I won't be picky. Yeah, well, you know, some molds are fine. Some molds are grown on purpose for food and things, right? But how do you know what mold is growing? What type of mold is it? I would love to learn those sorts of things. That sort of stuff helps a lot if you want to start growing like mushrooms, if you're interested in like mycelial growth and all of that sort of stuff. There are certain types of mold that, you know, if you're raising insects, they'll want to eat it. It would be nice to be able to look at mold and be like, I know what type that is. I know that it's not dangerous. Scrape the mold off, it's fine. My grandma legitimately did that. And I've told friends of mine that are like, you know, science boys, gender non-specific, science boys before. And they're horrified. my Nana, my dad's mom, my Nana and my grandpa, they were both Great Depression kids. Okay. So there were a lot of things that they would do that were very like, well, we can't waste it. Right. A lot of the hoarding in my family is because of that sort of mentality that's been trickled down. So something that my Nana would do is cut the mold off of stuff. And like, as an adult, I now know you can't just cut the mold off of something and not be eating mold, right? Because the spores, what's creating the visible mold, is still in there. It'll be deeper in there than what you've seen, right? But yeah, she would it was fully like a little mold's not going to kill you. Just cut it off. It's totally fine. Don't waste food, sort of a thing. That I just accepted when I was young because, sure. Depending on the type of, from what I understand, because it is a useful thing to know how to do. if you don't want to waste food, right? Is that there are certain types of foods that you can like, a gay crab, congratulations! The gay crabs are worth a lot. There are certain foods, I guess, that like, if you give the mold a wide berth, right? If you like, not just cut off the mold, but cut like, you know, a decent amount past the mold, you're probably fine. So depending on the type of food, sure, you could learn that, you know? Oh my gosh. I think it was on Friday. Was Friday when I was ranting about the Wild deodorant? Yeah. Okay. So to catch you all up, I decided to try Wild brand deodorant because it was on super sale at the store. And I keep getting ads for it because they're like, this bitch loves eco shit, right? So I was like, sure, I'll try it. And I came on stream and I was like, can I de-influence you? Because fuck this. Because I couldn't get the goddamn thing open. And I was ranting about it because the deodorant smelled amazing. And once I finally got it working and put it on, it felt great. It went on really nicely. It was really smooth. It wasn't sticky. It wasn't wet feeling. It was great. And it smells really nice. The deodorant itself, great. The actual thing that you need to put the deodorant insert in, awful. So mad. I hated it. I was mad enough that I was like, don't buy this shit. I'm so angry. And the thing that I kept saying was, my mom has arthritis. She's older, right? There is no fucking way that my mom could get this open. I can't get this shit open. There's no way my mom could get this open, right? That was the example I kept using. It was like, I just don't know how anybody with like, you know, limitations in their hand dexterity or it has arthritis or like any of that, where it's just like hard to pinch something. I just don't know how you would get this thing open. So the reason I bring this up is because my mom watched that VOD, texted me and goes, I just bought some. She was like, I've been looking for a new deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it, so I'm going to try it. I was like, did you not hear the part where I said I don't think you'll even be able to get it open? But if you can, fantastic. Yeah, it's a nice deodorant. Yeah, it was very challenge accepted for her. She was like, I'm not old. I'm fine. I can get it open. Brooke. Yeah, so I tried to de-influence and it didn't work. Did she get it open? She ordered it because they've got like, you know, the containers and like a million different deodorant inserts that you can get for the container on their website. So she just went on the website and bought it. So I guess I'll find out. I guess when it gets there, I guess I'll hear back. Mm-hmm. The saga will continue. I keep getting tempted by the special edition containers. No, that defeats the purpose. If you have the container already, the whole point is that you don't need to buy another one. Here's the play. Here you go. Here's the play. Find somebody else figure out a reason to bring up deodorant in conversation with somebody. And be like, have you tried Wild yet? It's pretty good. You should try it. You know what? I actually already order it, so I could just order you one. Who here uses deodorant? And then you start using the special edition container and give them your old one. Unless it looks beat up, then there's no, there's no way. There's no way you can pull that off. That's fair. I guess probably it still looks generally the same. There might be some deodorant residue on there, but you can just wash it. How do you bring up deodorant without making it sound accusatory? I guess depending on the group of people, I can think of quite a few people in my life where I could easily be like, dude, I've started using this new deodorant and I really like it. And it like wouldn't be weird. But sure, if I don't know the person very well, if I was like, let's talk deodorant, it might sound very like, you're a little stinky. Have you tried Wild? My mom and I joke about how companies child-proof things. And it's just as difficult to open for us, too. Dude, because part of my whole rant on Friday was like, as far as I know, I don't have any like grip problems really. I think my hand dexterity is pretty average, you know? I don't have ripped hands, but I also don't struggle with like joint pain or anything like that. And then that night, I needed to grab the cow pole for Clark for her legs, and I couldn't get it open. And Sam was like, it's a child-proof thing. Are you having trouble with a child-proof thing? And I was like, yeah, could you just open it for me, please? So maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm a little delulu about my own hands. maybe I'm slowly developing some grip strength problems. Maybe this is what I'm learning right now. There is music on, yeah. We child-proofed some cabinets back in the day with Watson. When she ate all the almonds. We had a bunch of child-proofing in our kitchen at the time before we even had a child. I'm so glad Clark had a good time. Oh my gosh. Not in like a shitty way, but you know, Clark is a very outgoing, but also very, you know, soft, squishy person. Like me. I was a very outgoing, squishy child. Okay? I loved going on little adventures. I loved getting a little bit dirty. But, you know, I was a little emotional. Which is fine. And Clark is very much a me. And so Sam and I had talked about how, because she really, really wanted to do these classes. And Sam and I had discussed whether or not she was going to feel sort of overwhelmed by them. And I was like, I'm very similar to how Clark is as a kid. And I loved martial arts. I loved it. She had her first martial arts lesson today. I was like, I thought it was so fun. I loved going. I was really sad when we stopped. You know? And I think there's a possibility that she's really gonna love like the outlet of martial arts, even though it doesn't seem like something that she would be super into. So I'm delighted. I'm so happy that she had a great time. This is her training arc, dude. Mm-hmm. Happy for her. You never know what's going to click with a kid. A crab. Congratulations. I'm upset. I want to be able to say in there, no, the crab always has to be worth 69 gold. I said it's a 69 gold crab, and it should always be worth 69 gold. It's like the Piper Joel. It's not funny if it's not worth 420 gold. That's the goof. That's the whole point. Why did I bother putting that in there? Oh, thank you. Yeah, how is the fishing queue looking? 60. Not as bad. Slowly but surely getting through it. Okay. In 1 minute, I'm going to close the redemption for fishing. If you want to get in on fishing, this is your opportunity. We're closing it for the rest of stream so that we can get through all of it. You got an A-list. Congratulations. Should have closed with no warning. No, it's fine. It'll be fine. 3, 2, 1. Boop. All done. 98! It's fine. It's a magical forever pond. It's fine. It's fine. Now, here's the question. Do we think that this is a spicy sandwich or a not spicy sandwich? I'm going to do a sniff test. Spicy. Mm-hmm. Barely, but yeah, spicy. Trick Winston, it's not a sandwich. Damn. Yeah, spicy with quotation marks, exactly. I'm excited for Sunforged tonight. Man, the last few sessions of Sunforged have been so, like, none of us have wanted to stop. It's fun. There's been so much, no spoilers, there's been so many lore drops. The last couple of sessions, not even on purpose, like, because we just sort of lucked into them. Mm-hmm. So... mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, if you do a session, and when the session ends, even though some people really need to go to bed, everybody just stays in the call for for a few minutes to, like, chat about what's going on in the game. That's good. That's fun. Bye, Vet. I need to update my notes. I really fell behind on my notes for that game. It's the first time in a long time. Oblivion. It's the first time in a long time that that I have played, like, a face. Not necessarily a face, but, like, a person who is built to talk to people, you know? Person with, like, high persuasion and deception and all of that. Like a charisma character, you know? Yeah, it's been a while, it feels like. Joe is... Last week, we messaged Joe to be like, Dearest Joseph Fudge, when are you doing your next recap? Love, Dodgers chat. And he said, I'll do it soon, I swear. XOXO Joe. So a new recap is going to be coming out soon. If you're, like, overwhelmed by the idea of catching up with 20 D&D session episodes, I totally get that. So yeah, you could wait until the next time that Joe does a recap and then just pick up after the recap. I've reached out to them to be on Geek Enders, yeah. Mm-hmm. New character in series or something ongoing. You got a Sam! A known gamer. Congratulations. This is my character on Sunforged, yeah. Which there is 20-ish sessions for. That's a good get. He's worth a lot. He's priceless. I know. I would make him worth more in the game, but I just made him worth the most possible. So he'll always be worth around 1,000 gold. How are we doing on this? Oh my god. Got 80 to go. I'm gonna be here a while, dude. It would be nice if you could click a ×2 button, like a speed up button. We're gonna check the leaderboard at the end, yeah. There will be a big upset, I feel like. Is this what subathons feel like? Maybe. I was looking through pictures. I was trying to find... This is the first time I've ever used this feature. But sometimes on pictures, when you take a picture with your smartphone, it'll remember where you took that picture. Clark and I were talking about going on a walk because it was really sunny and beautiful yesterday. And she was like, I really want to go on a walk at that place where all of the old people were walking. And I was like, what? This is going to be one of those kids have such good memories moments. I was like, what are you talking about? Which place? Like, can you tell me anything else about it? And she was like, there was a huge bridge and there was green water and we went walking and I was really little and everyone we saw was really old. And it suddenly snapped me into like, oh my God, I know exactly where you're talking about. But we had only been there once. We went there once when she was really little. I was like, how do you remember that much about that place? And I was like, okay, I'm going to try. No, they were actual, like all of them, you know, decently old. Decently old, like 70 years plus, but it's because they were a huge walking group. So they were the only people we saw while we were there. It was a huge walking group of like really old people that were just walking through the woods together, and it was very cute. But I was like, I do not remember where that place was. So I went looking through my pictures and stumbled onto all of the pictures of when I had fart on my neck for a while. I took so many pictures of my neck saying fart. I was like, I can delete some of these. I don't need all of these. But in the end, I found a picture that I took when we were on that walk when she was like 2.5. And it was like, oh, you took this picture here, and told me the exact park we were in, which was Toy. We didn't wind up going. But I now know what the park is, and that's what matters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know, obviously, like, she's trying to hold on to less memories than I am. A gay crab! Congratulations! 1,008 gold. Let's go. my God. My nose has been so itchy. And I'm worried I'm allergic to something. It's springtime, baby. Michael! He's not a vampire, don't worry. I'm going to mute myself and blow my nose. Someone said, maybe it's the coffee mold, which is so valid. Could be, dude. But it's also this way in our normal house, which is delightfully devoid of coffee mold. It's my nose has basically like constantly been itchy, drainy, etc. For like maybe a weekish now. Is it? As in, is my house actually devoid of coffee mold? Yes. How dare you? All except the one jar that's hopefully labeled coffee mold. Oh, this? It's my kid's science experiment. All of the tie-dyeing we did yesterday also turned out amazing. I just rinsed it like right before stream. And it truly proved to me, because we tie-dyed 2 vests, tank tops, 2 of my kids' vests. That were both like little white vests that we got to go under the Elsie Pittick dress. With the understanding that we would then tie-dye them. Because why else would we buy white clothes? That's madness. So we tie-dyed them. One of them, she was really precise with. She did a twist. We put the rubber bands on just so. And by then, she was over any attempt to like be precise with anything. So it went from a nice spiral twist with rubber bands to, and this one, I'm going to crumple into a ball and put a bunch of rubber bands on it. We've done a lot of tie-dyeing in my house. It's a very fun project to have. And once you have everything and your kid is kind of used to the process, it's actually pretty easy to do and fun. And you really do not need to worry about doing it any specific kind of way. You really don't. You really, really, really don't need to worry about that. Because again, we did one in a really particular way. We did one literally wadded up into a ball. She put a bunch of dye all over both of them. We let them both sit the same amount of time, rinsed them both, and they both turned out beautiful. So, if you've ever been interested in doing tie-dye and you're like, but what if it turns out ugly? It won't. Just don't like mix all of the colors together, because then it just gets kind of muddy. Just choose like 2, maybe 3 colors that you want to try it out with for the first time. You can look up some like easy rubber banding techniques to do, or you can literally wad it up into a ball. Either way, it'll turn out fine. Does color choice matter when you tie-dye? I mean, yeah, again, if you use a ton of different colors and you basically just overlay all of them on top of each other, it'll look kind of muddy. You want to kind of give them all their own space, you know? But yeah, we found that like we just bring out all of the colors now, but we found that early on picking just like two or three colors and then being like just squirt them wherever. Turns out fine. Clark's favorite pillowcase covers that she exclusively uses in her room are our very first tie-dye project. Graveyard Grandma, thank you for the raid. Yeah, it's fun. I want us to have a really colorful kitchen. So I said to Clark, if I like get the tie-dye powder stuff in a couple of different colors that I want to use in the kitchen, I was like, we can just buy a bunch of white towels and you can just tie-dye them for me and we'll just have those be our kitchen towels. And she was like, yes, that would be so fun. I went to get food and it's still fishing. Yeah, we stopped the redemption because it got so out of hand. We have 49 fishers still waiting. If you want some places to stay like pure white, there are things that you can do, like pre-treatment sort of stuff, because during the rinsing process, the excess dye is going to get on the places that weren't dyed, right? So when you unwrap it, some of the spots are going to be white, and you're going to be like, whoa, that looks so cool. It's such a stark contrast, right? But the second you rinse it, whatever dye colors you used on it are going to run all over the white, and it will get slightly dyed then. It's just like hair. If you do like really pretty multicolored hair sort of stuff and then they all bleed into each other and you're like, no, my hard work, right? We don't bother just because it adds like extra steps. But there are things that you can do, yeah, to make it so that doesn't happen as much. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that's one. Yes, 100%. That guy said tie-dye sounds really cool because it doesn't have to be perfect to look beautiful. And I remembered you mentioned that sometimes Clarky isn't fond of messing up. Yeah, it's really hard to mess up tie-dye. Because again, no matter what, you will wind up with a pattern. Even if it's just a scrunched up weird pattern, it'll look cool. It'll look fun. So anything that you try to do is going to work out in one way or another and be interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Love projects like that. Where it's like, there isn't a right way to do this, really, you know? The other project that's kind of like that Clark and I really like doing is, I've talked about this before too, is if you've got watercolors, just take whatever watercolors you want and just make a bunch of circles and like weird shapes and things all over a piece of paper. And then once it's dry, you can draw little faces on them. It's fun. So we'll just make a bunch of like weird shapes on paper, let it dry, and then turn them into monsters. I've turned them all into germs before. We looked up like what a bunch of different germs look like. I made them all into germs once. We did one where we just made lines all over the paper and then turned them into snakes. Things like that. That's another one that it's kind of hard to mess up because they're just shapes. You know, it's just make shapes. I was trying to, Clark was drawing hearts all over a piece of paper, and I was talking with her about it because I was like, I remember when you first started learning how to draw hearts and you would do what still happens sometimes, which is the heart wouldn't be the way that you wanted the heart to be. And you'd get really frustrated and you wouldn't want to draw hearts anymore. I was like, but now you've drawn so many hearts, probably thousands of hearts at this point. You've drawn so many that they're easy, you know, like a non-issue. I was like, I think sometimes it would be good to remember that, you know, that like the next time you're struggling with a thing, like, well, hearts used to be hard too, you know? Hey, Zachy and Flowertron, thank you both so much for subscribing. Welcome to the Cat Gang. Hope you're having a good day. Perfect time for a bong to be fished up alongside a beautiful story. What bong? There wasn't a bong. It was a vase? Question mark? I can't remember what it said. Oh, thank you so much. First time subbing to anyone. It had to be you. Thank you so much. How sweet. A weird vase. Yeah. I don't like that. I love octopuses, but I don't like that the very start of the rotation is just yeah, what's that all about, dude? Why can't it be upright? Why can't we just see the octopus? Why does it have to be his butthole, you know? Just don't feel right. A traffic cone. A witch's hat. It's also his mouth. God. How confusing. Kid. Sorry, I'm trying not to tell as many Clark stories anymore, but this one was so funny. Today, we were working on something, and she out of nowhere goes, Mommy, some of the boys at school, and she paused for a really long time, and I was worried she was going to say something like, some of the boys at school keep telling me that girls can't do something, or, you know, like something like charged that way. She paused for a while, and then she goes, some of the boys at school said that boys can only marry boys. And I told them that that's not true. And that everybody can just marry whoever they want. And I was like, it is wild. I never could have guessed in a million years what you were going to say. Like, really? She's like, yeah. Apparently only boys can only marry each other. That's what they were saying. And I was like, well, that's not true. And she was like, right? Because girls can also marry each other. I was like, sure. I like that a boy and girl marrying each other is not even part of the conversation. She's like, how dare you? Yeah, it was a very, the kids are all right sort of conversation. Like, you know what? Maybe progress is happening. I have to wonder what the context of the conversation was. I don't. If I had to take a guess, they were doing what kids do a lot, which is playing house. And the lineup on who should be the parents, an argument happened. I saw a video on TikTok. I know, the worst way to start a conversation. I saw a video on TikTok where somebody crocheted a weighted blanket, and they just every second like row put a bunch of beads in, and that's what made it heavier. And then they could just machine wash it, and it was like no big. And it would be like breathable too. And now I really want to make one, but I haven't crocheted in a really long time. And I'm not great at counting stitches. And I'm worried that if I start making a blanket, it's going to start off like this and then do this, you know? But I love the concept of that. A weighted blanket that you could easily wash that would dry just fine. that had little beads that you could just sit there and spin while you're watching something. That would be great. I'd love that. It would be a lot of work, but I'd love it. It would get real heavy to work with too. It would, yeah. I think what would be the best way to do it is to try and make Clark one first, because then it doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be big enough that she can like curl up with it, which is, you know, not that big. We love weighted blankets. The issue with us is Sam Clark and I are all such drastically different sizes of people. So a weighted blanket that feels appropriately heavy for Sam would like crush Clark, right? So we have sort of a middle of the road blanket that Clark really likes, that isn't too heavy for her, but isn't quite heavy enough for Sam, you know? My thing, and the reason that I think a crocheted one might be really nice is I love weighted blankets except for on my feet. And I think when we originally got a weighted blanket in America, I talked about this. You put the blankie on. And I want it to be a certain amount of heaviness on me, but if my feet are like this and I can't go like this easily, if I can't move my feet around easily, it stresses me out. I don't like it. So I'm like, a crocheted one might be nice because I bet I could move my feet around easier. Make one with feet pockets. Well, I would try to like put the blankie on me, but just not have it on my feet. But then that also feels weird. I don't like that either. So, you know. So, you know. Never happy Larry. 6. Only 6 left. We've gotten through the queue. I sleep with my feet uncovered like a weirdo. If it feels comfy for you, then do it. Wearing socks under a blanket is normal if you have shit circulation. I go to bed in my full ass clothes. Trousers, socks, shirt, hoodie. Not all the time, but consistently enough that yeah. If the house is cold, which it is, if the house is cold, and I know I'm going to be woken up by a gremlin around 6 a.m., the biggest barrier to me getting out of bed and also being comfortable enough to sleep when I go to bed is, am I cold? And if I'm still in my whole ass clothes, I'm okay, especially under a blankie. And then in the morning when I need to get up, I'm already dressed, dude. I'm fine. So we did it. The queue's done. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, everybody. It was a hard road. We fought hard for our freedoms and for our fish. Remember to restore the limit for tomorrow. I'm going to do it right now. Thank you for the reminder. Save. There we go. How many gay crabs happened today? It's a great question. But an even better question. Wait, where is it? Where is it? What the heck? Oh, there it is. Oh my God. Because it's invisible. Okay. Let's look at the leaderboard, dude. Woo! Our top 20. Claps, claps. Our top catches. Claps, claps. Messy Bristles Blue Whale is still the #1 catch. Look at all these gay crabs. Mm-hmm. Seen a lot of gay crabs, considering. Alrighty, I gotta go inside, but I will be back tomorrow. Thank you all very much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. We've got Sunforge tonight. If that's something you want to watch, that's on twitch.tv/Joe Fudge's channel. He's our DM, and it's a very fun game. It's me, Sam, my husband, Tomato, Brebun, Shane Hawk, and OLG. And it's a really good group. It's the same crew from Godforged. I am also excited for Sunforged tonight. I was saying the last couple sessions, I've been very like, guys, I just want to keep playing. Oh no, it reset. That hasn't happened in so long. Can you link the stream real quick? Here we go. We'll do this. Shout out Joe Fudge. There you go. Join us in following Joe Fudge. It says right at the top there. Go follow him. He's lovely. If you like GTA RP stuff, he's been doing a lot of that. He talks about like D&D updates and all that stuff. He's lovely. Yeah, a bunch of the activity feed got wiped. I'm sorry, but I'll read what we have. Teviston, thank you for the 84 months. Thank you so much. Happy 7 years. Curly for the 84 as well. Thank you so much. Happy 7 years. Lee Scoresby, thank you for the 114. Gimmelresh for the 109. Graveyard Grandma, thank you again for the raid. Armor for the 10. Krendall for the 118. Hey, Zaki and Flowertron, thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome to the Cat Gang.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, raid leader was closed. Sorry, my bad. I gots to.
Go to the bathroom.
I'm going to send you to Benj. Raid King Bendrick. Oh my god, my nose. My itchy nose. There you go. Go say hi, spread love, spread joy. I will see you guys for Sunforged, or I'll see you tomorrow for our normal stream. Okie dokie. We're going to start the Snufkin game next week. I'm very excited. But if Summer's free, Summer and I might play together tomorrow. So we'll see. I'll message and find out for you. See you tomorrow either way. Bye-bye.